美国正面临40年以来最快速的通货膨胀问题，眼见通膨居高不下，联准会因此出手，设法降低物价压力。本月稍早宣布2000年以来最大幅的升息，联准会主席鲍尔17号再放话，未来还会继续升息。
We know that this is a time for us to be tightly focused on the path ahead and on getting inflation back down to 2%. We know how people are suffering from high inflation, and we have both the tools and the resolve to get inflation back down.
他在《华尔街日报》一场活动表示，联准会必须看到明确且令人信服的证据，证明通膨压力正在减缓。假如没有看到，就得考虑采取更积极的手段。
No one should doubt our resolve in doing that, and I think if you look at how quickly we've moved in the last few months, really, then you'll see that financial conditions have tightened quite a bit. What we need to see is inflation coming down in a clear and convincing way, and we're going to keep pushing until we see that.
联准会在2020年3月疫情开始大流行时，将基准利率下调至0，并向金融系统注入现金，以避免严重下行。但随着政府大规模刺激措施协助下，经济慢慢复苏，因此联准会今年开始收手，包括至今以来的2度升息。有分析认为，通膨的原因其实跟美国自己的政策有关。
I think that the inflation that the U.S. and the world is facing now really is the result of both bad choices and bad luck. So we know that for a number of years, the U.S. Federal Reserve has pursued a policy of low, almost zero interest rates that really has flooded the market, as well as other monetary measures that have flooded the market with liquidity. And that really set the stage for the historic inflation that we're seeing. So that's what I mean by bad choices. Also, a consequence of a bad choice, also due to bad luck, is the U.S. government response to the COVID pandemic. Again, flooding the country with excess liquidity. Now, the bad luck comes in, of course, with the COVID crisis, which not only was an economic shock, but also a supply chain shock to the world.
有些评论认为，联准会对于通膨反应迟钝。但有专家认为，不能完全怪罪他们。
And early on, I think they rightfully dropped interest rates to near zero to try to drive demand and keep the economy afloat. They also engaged in sort of, the bond purchasing activities to try to drive down longer-term interest rates. All those were appropriate at the time. Figuring out when was the right time to start easing accommodative monetary policy was more difficult. I think the Fed was maybe a little late in starting to increase interest rates, but again, they had to balance against that really unprecedented levels of uncertainty as it relates to developments with the pandemic. And so it was a challenging balancing act. I do think going forward, the Fed will be more focused on interest rates as it relates to price stability as opposed to the other side of the dual mandate, which is maximum employment.
而美国总统拜登把通膨归咎于2个原因，一是冲击全球的新冠疫情，再来就是俄罗斯总统普丁发动战争。拜登已经指示联准会尽全力解决通膨问题。
That starts with the Federal Reserve, which plays a primary role in fighting inflation in our country. I put forward a highly qualified nominees to lead that institution.
随着美国祭出货币紧缩政策，美国财政部长耶伦指出，美元升值是可以理解的事，但从美国政府的角度来看，拥有市场决定的汇率是最好的制度。同时，耶伦对停滞性通膨提出警告，因为粮食和能源价格上涨，导致世界各地通膨升温，加上俄乌战争和各国制裁，恐怕将使全球经济充满不确定性。特斯拉执行长马斯克更直指，美国的经济可能已经陷入衰退。
But I think we probably are in a recession, and that recession will get worse. There'll probably be some tough going for, I don't know, a year, maybe 12 to 18 months.
高盛集团执行长苏德维也援引多名经济学家的预测警告，美国未来12到24个月经济衰退的风险至少是30%，投资人必须要做好准备。
I know you got to be frustrated. I know. I can taste it. I want every American to know that I'm taking inflation very seriously, and it's my top domestic priority.
现在美国物价上涨速度是1980年代初期以来最快， 这也重创了拜登的支持度。如今联准会主席表示，将毫不犹豫地持续升息，直到通膨下降到接近2%的目标。交易员预估，如果美国通膨没有明显降温，9月会议之前都可能升息2码，之后才会减为升息1码，希望能够有效对抗通膨巨兽。三立新闻叶立伟报道。